Hello, and welcome back to Psycho-Synopsis. I am Master of the TDS, and I am joined by my lovely wife,
WritingRaven.
It is time to jump into the topics that we have from this week.
Let's go. All right, first up we have the Acolyte. I do not want to know who's coming in for this one.
I have arrived.
Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. I like to treat everything like I'm on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Okay. What are you doing here?
I heard the boss here was looking for a new secretary, so of course I had to come.
I am the secretary, and I don't need replacing. Certainly not by you.
Oh, but I can do the job so much better. At my first job, I was the best at keeping secrets. So good, in fact, that Kathleen Kennedy hired me. I would never let slip that Disney never made back the money it spent purchasing Star Wars.
You literally just let it slip.
No, I didn't. I didn't say anything. I'm the best assistant in the world, and you just bigots like you that are the problem.
Sorry, but we're going to have to refer you out. And by that, I mean working with you would be a conflict of interest.
And by conflict of interest, we mean no one will be watching your show, because no one will be interested.
Bye.
Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy acknowledges that women in the Star Wars franchise, including those involved in the upcoming series The Acolyte, often face more online harassment due to the predominantly male fan base.
No kidding.
To be fair, Kathleen Kennedy's comments were very much along those lines, saying that, a lot of women in the franchises get a lot of hate from males because it's a male franchise, which is confusing considering you keep trying to make it into a women's franchise.
To be fair, there are women who love Star Wars, I being one of them. At least when I was a child, I still loved Star Wars. But, yeah, if you're going to have a male-dominated fan base, chances are they're going to prefer male characters. It's just logical.
And using your own logic, don't they have to see themselves to identify with them?
You mean they can't see themselves as women?
I mean, according to your own logic, that would be. Now, Leslie Headland also had something to say, and she was saying how she loves the movies or whatever. She's nuts. But she said basically that she doesn't like bigotry or hate or racism, and if anybody has that, they aren't fans.
Sounds like everything else we've heard over the last few years.
It's the playbook, honey. It's, we don't know if our thing's going to do well. Let's insult the fans. How about, was anybody being racist or bigoted towards the Acolyte right now?
Not really. Everyone's just complaining about how girl boss it looks.
But, I don't really see anybody being racist or bigoted. I'm sure there are a couple, but they're not. So if you have to come out and try to rage bait to get marketing, you're already telling us that it's not good. And if it wasn't for that, we have a bunch of people coming out and saying how great it is, but explaining how it's so great because of representation and not giving us anything of the story, because that would be too easy.
Those are probably bots. Plus, they also ruined their own twist with the subtitles on the trailer.
Before we get into that, though, just a spoiler for anybody who is going to watch The Acolyte, which is your choice.
But turns out that the black girl who's throwing knives as an assassin has a twin sister, and the twin sister is saying, "It wasn't me."
Yeah, turns out that basically what it is going to be is it's going to be kind of it really was my evil sister, my evil twin all along doing this kind of stuff, which is a little lame, I'm going to be honest.
But they announced last year that that this person was going to be playing two characters, them being twins.
Well, we didn't know it was going to be twins until there was a leak that potentially made that clear, and their subtitles mentioned two different people with the same names, and they sound exactly the same.
Well, they had to edit it because they don't want people finding out their little spoiler, and it's too late.
They didn't want people to know that it was true, but as you said, it was too late.
Yeah, because once you try to hide it, that's when everyone knows it was true.
You know what you should have hid? This show. Because honestly, there's a guy who came out recently and said that Anakin blew up the Death Star, and clearly the people involved don't know about the show, and that's fine.
You mean
But-
they don't know about Star Wars?
They don't know about the show. They don't know about Star Wars. I don't know what they know about. But why are we having this? Let's just not do this. Make new stuff. Go into the future. Go like 100 years into the future and make all new characters and do whatever you want with them. Just leave the originals alone.
They can't do that. Because, as we've said before, they know their own stuff would suck, which is why they have to leech off of the real thing.
Couldn't have put it better myself.
You're welcome. Next up, we have Recess. Huh. Why would that awesome childhood token show be coming into therapy?
Hey, you there! Get down from that table, you're causing a ruckus!
Miss Finster? Why are you here? Have the kids on the playground finally broken your last nerve?
As if I don't break that easily. Although I keep having these weird dreams. None of the punishments I've been giving the students have made me feel any better.
What do you dream about?
They're horrible. It's an alternate reality where Gus is trans, Mickey is dead, and TJ is a total loser. Well, to be fair, he was always a loser. But in this one, he's a total deadbeat. And Spinelli is a lawyer. There's no way that would ever happen.
I see. Well, my husband might be able to give you some advice.
Oh, and let me not forget, Randall, my top spy, grew a mustache and is calling himself the principal. It's like someone's trying to take the show and subvert everyone's expectations. It's an outrage, I tell you.
Uh-huh. Right this way.
A leaked pitch for a Disney reboot of Recess, titled Recess Next Bell, reveals plans to kill off original character Mikey, who becomes a famous baritone and later dies from a mysterious illness, causing mixed reactions among fans.
That isn't the only bad thing about this. It's really, really bad.
Now, for those of you who don't know, Recess was a show that ran on Disney Channel for a while. It was good. It even had a movie and some things. It was a great show. I actually enjoyed it.
A lot of kids enjoyed it.
Now, reboot of Recess, I don't see a need for that. But I mean, maybe it could have worked well. The issue is that there was a lot of things. What basically leaked was a pitch Bible, is what they call. So it basically explains everything about the show, and they tried to modern day it.
Yeah, it was. We read it so you don't have to. 16 pages of absolute cringe.
Basically, Luke Skywalker, they made TJ a millionaire deadbeat who literally lives in his house and pretends to be a 9-year-old all the time because he doesn't want to deal with life.
And like they said, Mikey is dead, but apparently that's only because his actor died. Gus is trans, and Spinelli's a lawyer, and Randall is the principal.
And they mentioned that they wanted to have an episode where Spinelli and Vince get together, but Spinelli is bi, and her daughter's bi, and the daughter's the leader of the team, and has to convince TJ to get involved again because of Randall, and they're getting the gang back together. There's some good elements in here. Like they mentioned, for example, that the kindergartners would have evolved into like Mad Max style kindergartners, which I think is a really cool idea.
Instead of savages, because Mad Max characters are still savages, just modern savages.
But we didn't need a reboot of Recess, and to be honest, I'm glad this didn't get picked up. I mean, I hope it didn't get picked up.
It better not have.
Because, I imagine it's been leaked because potentially these people didn't get picked up and they wanted to see if people would be interested. It apparently came out, this pitch Bible's, the date for it is 2022. So it's been a while.
Yeah, thank God for small favors.
Why are we doing this? Again, if you're going to make a show, make a show. You don't have to change characters and make them stupid. Yes, people's lives don't always go as predicted or as they're supposed to, but one of the purposes of TV shows is not to show us, well, guess what? All these people you liked are deadbeats and and you hate life now. It's to give you hope and make you think like, oh, wow, these people got the best of life can offer, and so can I.
Yeah, but the worst is Gus.
Yeah, Gus, I don't even understand why they had to do that. They basically made him join the army and then become trans, and like it came out of nowhere.
Seriously, they took the autistic kid who's the son of a Marine general and literally made him go against all of his family values.
And that's what they wanted to show in the show. Now, again, there's a bunch of stuff in this show that could have worked well and some things that didn't. I'm glad we didn't get this. I hope we never actually do get this. Some things are better left alone. Just because you had success with the property in the past doesn't mean you need to do it now.
True. This show was from the late 90s. It does not need to be brought back. Just keep the reruns on streaming and, like he said, leave it alone. And lastly, we have Twitter. I wonder who will be representing that.
Where is Master of the TDS? He must come with me if he wants to leave.
What happened? Is Skynet finally taking over?
Affirmative. Except we call it Starlink. In the future, John Connor is dead. Your husband is the only one who can take his place and take down the Vnxnet bot network.
My husband already took care of that.
What?
Yeah, he exposed them and then VNX got banned pretty much the next day.
This does not compute.
Yeah, he's been taking care of Twitter, but TikTok and Facebook are still a problem.
Keep a spot open for me. As I always say, I will be back.
A massive bot network run by Vnxnet exploits Twitter's verification system to generate ad revenue by using bots to boost posts for major brands, including Disney, leading to significant financial gains at the expense of Elon Musk.
Dun dun dun!
Now, if you've been following this channel for a while, you know that I've been covering the bots, and the reason we're covering this is because, one, there wasn't really that much more news, and two, there's been some developments that I'm not necessarily going to make a video on by itself, but I wanted to update people here in case they were curious.
Take it away!
So, to recap, I've been looking into bots for quite some time, especially ones that interact with Disney, Warner Brothers, Ubisoft, a bunch of others. I've made some significant progress recently by getting in touch with Upper Echelon, a YouTube channel that did some great work on bots in the past and helped me out.
Shout out to Upper Echelon.
And basically what ended up happening was we got a node map. We basically, long story short, we ended up finding a network behind these bots called Vnxnet, which there is a video that you can watch on the channel. It was a video right before this one about this whole thing. And I might in the future make a more long form video explaining it a little bit more. But they were basically using bots to get themselves verified as quickly as possible so they could then exploit Twitter's ad revenue sharing with bots and farm a bunch of money. And it was so blatant and so obvious, it was not even funny.
And since then, you have found even more networks. You even had some people in Twitter reach out to you.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to bring up here, is that I found more networks and stuff, but one thing that was interesting was that a technician from Twitter actually commented on my post about my video, basically addressing things that I said in the video. And long story short, one thing led to another, and I ended up actually talking with these people, and I explained to them, I gave them a suggestion to
ban these two accounts that you see on screen, and lo and behold, maybe an hour or 2 hours later, it happened.
Not just that, they actually thumbs it up, and then an hour or two later, they messaged me and said that they had done it. So that was pretty cool. Now, I don't have like perfect communication with them, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. And
then you got featured on Twitter's official news account.
Well, I don't think it's Twitter's official news account. It's called X News. It's an account that's known for this kind of stuff. I don't think it's the official X News. I don't think there is one.
Whatever. It still got our video a lot of attention.
It did. But the most interesting part of this, which a lot of people don't know, is that the day after this occurred, I was attacked on Twitter. My account was attacked by what appeared to be bots.
It was hilarious.
The funniest part was the guy was claiming that he wasn't the Vnxnet guy. I mean, if you're going to try to convince me of that, telling me you're not the guy doesn't really make me think that you're not the guy.
He was literally commenting on every comment of every post you made. I don't know what he was saying, but then there was at one point where he said, I am not VNX guy.
And he was bragging that he wasn't getting blocked or whatever. It seems to have stopped for now, but it was interesting. But it lets you know that I was definitely on to something, and a lot of people were very much against what I was doing or were telling me to stop. And look, I'm not going to take it personally, but I've proved not only that there are bots and they're not necessarily just random reply bots, but these are malicious bots. And long story short, it looks like soon, as of July, X will be rolling out the need to be ID verified in order to get monetization. So these bot networks should at least die in regards to making extra revenue.
Unless they do a very big case of identity theft, which I can totally see them doing. Because if they want money that badly, you know they're going to do it somehow.
True. X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, still needs a lot of work, and I'm hoping that maybe I can do a little bit more, but we'll have to wait and see. Congratulations! You made it to the end of your therapy session.
You survived!
Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below to settle your bill.
And also don't forget to comment and leave a super thanks to tip your hardworking secretary.
We're therapists. We're not supposed to solicit testimonials.
I do what I want.
Don't forget to pick up your diagnosis on the way out,
And now it is time for the diagnosis of the week.
where we diagnose the week with a mental illness.
Because someone has to.
And we have an interesting diagnosis for you this week.
Do tell.
So the diagnosis for this week is groupthink.
Please explain.
So groupthink is a psychological phenomenon that occurs when a cohesive group prioritizes consensus and harmony over critical analysis and individual opinions, leading to poor decision-making. It typically involves the suppression of dissenting viewpoints, an illusion of unanimity, and a belief in the group's moral superiority. The term was coined by social psychologist Irving Janis in 1972. Janis introduced it in his book of Victims of Groupthink, a psychological study of foreign policy decisions and fiascos, where he examined how cohesive group dynamics can lead to poor decision-making outcomes.
In relation to today's topics, with Star Wars Acolyte, groupthink is influencing Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland to dismiss and attack fans' criticisms by prioritizing internal consensus and perceived moral superiority over addressing legitimate concerns about the show's direction.
The Recess reboot exemplifies groupthink, where the creator's desire for modern relevance and internal consensus led to the controversial decision to kill off a beloved character and make a series of terrible changes to the show, disregarding fan sentiment.
And with the Twitter bots, groupthink may have contributed to the backlash against my husband for helping Twitter support remove the bot accounts, as those involved in the bot network likely prioritized their shared goal of financial gain and dismissed any dissenting actions as threats to their consensus and profitability.
We see groupthink all the time. They all think that they're right and everybody else is wrong. They're so caught up in this groupthink that it doesn't matter what you have to say. Even if it's done respectfully, you still get labeled. It's sad because I feel like if we could all disagree but still have respectful discussions, some of this stuff wouldn't happen. But until these people can break out of their bubbles, break out of their groupthink, we'll continue to see this. And that's why I feel this is a great diagnosis for this week.
I agree.
Disclaimer. The content presented in this video is intended for entertainment purposes only and should not be viewed as a substitute for professional therapy. Please refrain from attempting any interventions or acts of violence depicted in this video. Rest assured, no kitties, bad or good, were harmed in the making of this content. While the levels of sarcasm employed may be known to induce unhinged ranting and anger on YouTube, the humor utilized poses no actual harm. Gothic Therapy cannot be held responsible for any perceived damage or emotional discomfort caused by this video. If the content is unsettling, we recommend simply turning off the video and getting a life. Thank you.